You're listening to the TMB Podcast, brought to you by Mook World.
What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the TMB Podcast. I'm your host, Brian Dawkins, a.k.a. That Man B-Doc. And joining me, we have a guest today, finally, after a few weeks. Got my boys, Nick, a.k.a. Nerosama, and that boy Tim, Nerdy Guy Tim, who I've talked about on this pod before, joining me. And we're going to be talking all things Elden Ring, Nightreign, man. We've been on the game heavy since it dropped about a little over a week ago. And, man, we got this whole pod is going to be dedicated to that. So first of all, how you guys doing? How you guys doing tonight?
Good, man. Good. Glad to be here. Glad to be part of this. So have a chance to actually hop on a podcast. It's been a minute. So
I feel that. You are a working man while we're usually podding, so it's nice to have you. But how about you, Tim? How you doing tonight, brother?
I won't lie to you, B-Doc. I would have been a lot better if we would have won the run we were just on.
Facts. That was painful. I'm not gonna lie.
Right. Because you guys are, I think you were telling me before we started, you're on the Dragon, right? The second to last one.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
Have you gotten to day 3 yet? Or are you still trying to get to day 3?
Nope. Still trying to get to
Not
day
yet.
3. Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. All right. Well,
Granted, I've only had 2 runs at it, so.
Oh, okay. So you're very early on.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we will. We'll table that. We'll get to the dragons or anything. But let's start off with overall, just impressions of the game. So, do you guys know how many hours you got? And I've gotten about 35 hours into Nightreign so far. Last time I checked, I probably should have refreshed that before we hit record. But I'm going to stick with that 35-hour number. So, you know, how long have you guys gotten to the game, and what are your general thoughts on Nightreign to this point?
I'm sitting around probably like 33, 35 hours, same about you, honestly. So,
Okay.
and so far, I was telling the guys last night, or last time I was on here, maybe not last night, 2 nights ago, but I'm really enjoying the game. I have fun when I play it. It's a great time with you guys, especially. Even when we do have those botch runs, it do be a little frustrating, but it is still fun. I have a great time.
Mm-hmm.
I think most of the classes are very fun to play, and it's kind of interesting to see like the different combinations that people have been coming up with for certain boss runs, like what might be better than others and stuff like that. So I'm enjoying it. I will say, final verdict: I'm enjoying the game. I have been playing it nonstop since this came out. So that is my take on it so far. FromSoft did a pretty good job on a multiplayer take on Elden Ring, so I'll give them that.
Bet. Tim, how about for you, brother?
I'm gonna have to agree. Yeah. I will say currently it says I played 47 hours. That is not the case. I would say I'm about like 30, like the rest of you guys.
Boy, falling asleep with it gone.
I played a good amount of the game so far. I haven't touched every character. I have not seen every boss. But I've definitely enjoyed the multiplayer aspect of it. I've run a few solo runs. Definitely not as much as you guys. I am definitely not a solo enjoyer of the game so far, or at least I haven't hit a point where I understand the game enough.
Okay.
But multiplayer wise, I love the game. I think we played like at all day, one day, and I could probably do that nonstop for maybe the next few months on this game. So definitely a fan favorite.
For sure. I agree with that take too. Solo's definitely not the move. I mean, I have a good amount of runs with solo, but I don't think for me that's not where the game shines. Multiplayer, like playing with y'all, like playing with the homies, even playing with randos, honestly, is a move over playing by yourself. I think only the true like Souls sickheads are the ones that like enjoy solo or that play solo often and have success with it. Which is it's not a knock to them, but it's just kind of the reality is that like unless you do that, like you're just a Souls fiend, like that solo experience is not
as great.
Not going to be the most ideal. But okay. So you guys aren't all the way through all the bosses yet. I've had some time to play. I got lucky with some randos on the sticks one night, so I have cleared all the bosses at least one time throughout the game. But up to this point, I think let's just go ahead and get it out in the air. We all agree, or at least for me, that Libra is the hardest boss on the game.
Bro.
It's not even. I don't know if it's a debate. Maybe you guys feel differently, but they just OD'd on that one.
I was just about to say, look, you find the word OD, look it up in Urban Dictionary. Libra's picture is right there. His icon in the game image is right there next to it in the dictionary, bro. Like, it's I feel like, honestly, after doing the fight a handful of times, like, I've gotten used to his moveset, but it's just like, at one point, I think before they did the update where they kind of fixed, because he had a bug, like when the game first launched, like where he would just do certain moves over and over and over and over and over and over again, and it was just like, what do you do against that? Because like you run out of stamina at one point from dodging or blocking, and like if he's casting that one move that chunks hell, it was just too much. Like, you know which one I'm talking about, the slam dunk move, right? Where he just pounces over and over again. Yeah, like that was bad. But luckily, FromSoftware came out with an update, I think, honestly, earlier this week, that fixed that. So you shouldn't do it as much. But it was like, I've seen clips online of people posting that one fight of that actual emotion where it's just a minute straight of them just running around and he's just slam dunking nonstop, bro. It's like, what is going on?
Yeah, bro. And the well, I don't know if this was in the patch either, but that machine gun like type move that he does where he pulls up the little portal and the stuff shoots out of it, bro.
Yeah.
When he hits the phase 2 and it's just going nonstop and it's spinning in a circle, combined with him doing those other moves on top of it, I'm like, bro, what are we doing here? Why do they make him like this?
Yeah. And he's like middle of the pack, like boss too, like in the list of like all the bosses you can do, he's in the middle, and that might be the hardest boss. I haven't, grain of salt, I haven't done the last 2 fights in the game yet.
That's fair.
But out of all the ones that I've done so far, that is definitely icing on the cake, hardest boss fight out of all of them so far.
Right, and I think you'll feel that way. Obviously, we could talk about it after you've cleared the last 2, but I think you're gonna feel that way for the last 2 too. I'm pretty confident that the 2
because it's just gonna like you said, the second phase of that fight is just like so much is going on. Like, bro, I almost had to clear for Tim and Sylvester, bro. They had both went down. This man literally needed like 2 or 3 more, like, I'm playing the Iron Eye class, so he only needed like 2 or 3 more like arrows for me, bro. Just basic attack arrows, and he was dead. This man is doing the little like seal thing that you were saying where he launches I guess they're like rocks, right? I guess like glowing rocks. Yeah. He's like projectiles, pretty much. Projectile like launching these rocks at you. He's got them set up like in several spots. It's not just one. He has one like, and I don't see him because I'm locked onto it. I don't see the one to the right of me, right? There's one to the right of me off the screen of my camera. He's shooting one right at me from where he's standing at. So I'm dodging to the right thinking I'm straight. Boy, I got clipped by the ones off screen. Killed me. I was so heated, dude. I was like, we were so close to clearing it for him. I was like, bro. And I never have to do this fight again.
Yeah, I think the funniest thing about that fight was the first time I went in there with you, Tim, and I didn't realize you hadn't gotten to him yet. So, I think the mechanic at the beginning is kind of cool, even though I never take anything from him. So for those who maybe don't play Nightreign or haven't gotten to the Libra, the boss that we're talking about yet, there's like a mechanic beforehand. You can take something from him, like an ability, or you can like up your levels or get a special weapon or whatever before the fight starts. But it comes at a cost. There's a catch. You don't just get it for free. Like, so we go in there. Tim grabs the one where you get the extra levels, but every time you use a flask, you lose a level.
Oh, so,
the fight starts and he just starts ODing and Tim's like, whoa, what is going on? Whoa. He's popping like 4 flasks before we even start doing any type of damage to him.
Oh no.
I'm
I was
dying
at level
laughing.
1. Yeah.
So just off that alone, man, I'm just like, yeah, that boss, bro. If you don't know, you need to take some time, go on some runs, and get to know, because that they clearly were like, nah, this isn't gonna. He's not gonna be the last boss, but he's gonna be the hardest one for sure. Because I don't think it's a close second to the one right after him, like the Dark Drift Knight. But I still think Libra clears him.
Yeah, 100%. Dark Drift Knights. It's like, I feel like once you kind of understand that one's mechanics, you can kind of like get by most of it,
Right?
And be straight. But Libra is just like a lot. It's just happening all at once, and
right. Even if you know
it's just a very chaotic fight. Exactly, it's just a very chaotic fight. So the man is TPing everywhere.
I'll say I'm not there yet. I think as of this week, Fulgur, the Dark Drift Knight, is probably my hardest boss. Though I will say I've only touched him like maybe 3 times. Those AoEs are juggling me right now.
No, the AoEs are crazy. I agree with that.
Yeah. I think there was like one run where we like started out, and I'm like doing well. I hit him with like maybe 10 lightning bolts, and then he just hits me with AoE, and then it's another AoE, and then another, and I'm like cooked. And then that's it. We just end the night there. And I was like, oh well, okay. Libra, at least we have a few seconds before I feel like I'm about to get cooked. Second phase is usually where we end out for the boss. So I haven't beat either yet, so it's hard to say.
Okay. Oh, we gotta get you that.
Yeah,
we gotta get you those. We gotta get you those. Yeah. I will say that for Dark Drift Knight, the AoE is only, in my opinion, very like tough the first couple of times you do it, just because like, I mean, the first time you get hit with it, most people who aren't like seasoned Souls players, like they panic roll. Like you just start rolling to try and like not get hit, and that doesn't save you on the AoEs, because you have to be very specific. Like it's blowing up the whole area around you, so you rolling just randomly is not going to get you out of the way. I think that's why it's like difficult the first couple of times, because you got to be like, all right, even though I got hit, I need to wait and like actually time up the follow-up AoE that's getting ready to come right after it. And then when he did the shit on the ground where he like strikes the ground and it sends like wind at you.
Oh, that cooked me, bro.
Bro, the first time he said it at me, I was like, what does he do? I'm like, oh, I'm far away. I think I was playing like Iron Eye, like, oh, that's not gonna hit me. And then next thing I know, the ground and wind just start flying at me. I was like, oh, he knew exactly what he was doing. This is crazy. This is a crazy move.
Oh man, yeah, that caught me off guard too. I'm not gonna lie, that caught me so off guard when he did it. I was playing Iron Eye as well, and I was doing it solo. I made it all the way to him solo the first time I fought him. And I was not prepared. Yeah, I was not prepared. Boy put me in a blender before I even got like a third of his HP bar down, like in that one fight. I was like, all right, I gotta go do this with Rain.
That's so funny.
I need someone to pick me up when I go down.
I can't imagine trying to do that fight solo. That's actually kind of crazy. I mean, I know people do it. Like I've seen people do it, but still, it's just like, for me personally, like I'm not skilled enough like that to be running solo on those bosses, man.
No, I'm not either. I get put in a blender every time, bro. Like, don't even get close to halfway health in the solo runs. Just get put in a blender.
Right. Not the second one. The third one, whatever the spirit one is, Ayugar, whatever. I don't know.
Oh yeah, that one. That one's super easy.
Yeah, that's the only one I cleared solo, just because like it's more of a mechanic fight than actual like dodge and stuff. You just gotta make sure you don't get hit by any of the like blowing, like the exploding jellyfish and other stuff around you. But other than that, it's not not that
Yeah,
bad.
no, that's just purely a mechanic fight, and just like you said, just don't get hit by stuff.
All right, let's talk. Let's talk a little. Let's look a little into the future a little bit. So we know they're gonna add some DLC into it. I don't know if you guys know what specifically they've mentioned in the DLC, but let's speculate that they're adding different bosses or maybe new bosses to the game.
Right.
What boss would y'all like to see get added to? Because I guess like the day one, day two bosses are like bosses from like the other games. Like on the day two, we've gotten Nameless King, things like that.
Right.
Which ones would y'all like to see get added into the runs? Because I think that's where the potential with Nightreign really shines. I know they say they're only going to do one DLC, but for me, I think that's a missed opportunity, and I hope they backtrack on that, just because they have so many like iconic bosses and like source to pull from between all their games. So do you guys have any bosses in mind or anything in mind that you think would be a good addition to the DLC to help keep the buzz around and keep it going for a while? Because I really think it could, if they wanted to, they could keep Nightreign like a pop in multiplayer for like a good minute.
No, they could. I agree. Honestly, I would like to see some more like Bloodborne-esque like bosses in there. To be honest,
Okay.
I don't have any like specific ones in the top of my head, but like, because it's been a minute since we touched that game, but like, definitely would like to see more of that in there. And to touch on the whole DLC thing, I guess like I don't know. Me and Cam were talking about it the other night. One of our other buddies in our Discord, and about like the longevity of Nightreign. Like, what could they do? Like, could they add just more bosses? Like we were saying, like from the other games. But I was like, it kind of be cool if they like just made some new bosses just for this game. I think
That's a
that
good
would
point.
pull people in. I think if they created some new boss fights, like from none of the games that they've already made, and just made, like, let's say like they made like 3 or 4, nothing crazy, like a small amount. I think that would help draw people into because it's new boss fights that they've never encountered before, and they can only do that in Nightreign, so that could help drive people to come play the game.
Right.
Like if they do like stuff like that, I think that would be great. But like you said, they don't plan on doing any more extra DLCs after this, which I like. I also agree would be a huge missed opportunity in my opinion because like, bro, this is so much fun, and like this is a great opportunity to like play Elden Ring with your homies. It's like not in a like I gotta help you beat a boss situation kind of thing. It's like us just playing the game like naturally. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's my take.
What about for you, Tim?
Honestly, so me and you were very into Elden Ring. I think some of my favorite bosses from there would probably be Mitra, Lord of
Okay.
Frenzied Flame. That fight was probably my favorite in the game. Second to Mesmer, honestly. So
Okay.
Mesmer would be a good addition. Though I think likely we might see something more like Divine Beast.
Okay. Okay. I could see that. Bro. Mesmer in a day two run would be kind of crazy.
Yeah.
That would be insane. That would be insane.
Okay, I like those. I was thinking more. I don't know how they could do this, just because it's such a completely different game, or not a completely different game, but like the way the mechanics work in the bosses is different. But like, I'm thinking like pull some shit from like Sekiro, bro. So I know, Tim, you weren't very high up on Sekiro, but bro, there's a boss. If you guys got time after this to look up, bro, Demon of Hatred. I think it would be like a pretty decent boss for kind of how Nightreign works. It's a little different just because like in Sekiro, they had the death blows and like you like stagger posture and stuff to basically take like the whole life bar. So it works a little different like that. But I feel like Demon Hatred would be a good one that they could rework to play more like the other Souls games do. And because honestly, one thing like before I kind of got not super into Souls game, but before I understood more about them, like one thing I saw people talk about a lot with Demon of Hatred was it was such a difficult fight for most people because it didn't play like the other bosses in Sekiro. It played more like the bosses from like the other Souls games, like where you're meant to like deflect and stuff in Sekiro. Like this is one of the ones where it's like you can't really deflect that much. Obviously, like you still can, but it's like it's way, way different. So that's why I think that's a good one that you could be like outside the box that they could put in there. And you can some other people can play and be like, yo, this was in one of their other games, like maybe they go back and play Sekiro and try to get to it and like actually fight that boss in that game and see what it's like. So for me, I think that's a good one. But I like what you're saying too, Nick, with adding new stuff is always probably gonna be king.
Right.
Just because like people want the new experiences. Obviously the nostalgia stuff is like good. Like Nameless King is like dope. I know people were hype about that, but at the same time, like we're still on these other bosses that we're fighting in day 3, like all the new stuff. So we'll see, man. But I really hope they just change their mind, man. Yeah, just stick with it, bro. It's so fun. Like I know critically, like it didn't score as well as the base game and Shadow of the Erdtree, but for me, like I still think it's up there with both of those. Like it's different because it's a multiplayer, but the thing I like the most about Souls game is literally what Nightreign is. Like it's like a rush to fight like as many bosses as you can, which is the best part of the game for me. I'm not a huge like world builder or lore person when it comes to Souls games, so like just flying through the game and fighting as many bosses as possible is dope to me. So I really hope they do stick with it.
I was gonna ask you guys if you guys paid attention to any of the lore in the game or no.
Here
I'm
and there,
trying to figure it out.
yeah.
Okay.
I'm not good with lore in any game, so I'm just gonna. I'll be straight up. Like I'm not, unless a story is really compelling or easy to follow. Like if I got to put too many pieces together, like I'm not. My personality is just like I'm not gonna be super interested in it. So you kind of gotta. I mean, people might trash me for that, but I'm really more like a Last of Us person where like the story is just built into what I'm playing and I can follow it pretty easily. Like if I got to go piece together what these people are telling me on the quest from the dialogue, you're gonna lose me pretty quickly. But Tim, I know you're better about that. So have you been getting into the lore a little bit?
So I have to admit that I have not dove into the lore just of yet. Usually I've been more into it, but I've just been trying to get to the bosses at the moment. Without taking as long as it has, I haven't taken a moment to look at most of the characters' lore, especially since I haven't played through all of them. I think what sucks is I don't think my playstyle matches a lot of the characters, so I'm worried about not being able to do their remembrance at all.
Well, we can help you too, because a
Yeah.
lot of them it's like going to a certain spot on the map for them and like beating a boss that they have set up for that mission,
True.
and then collecting something, and then just finishing out the run. Even if you win or lose, you'll still take that quest item with you.
Yeah. Is Iron Eye the only one who has a remembrance tied to an actual like day 3 boss? I haven't really dove that deep into the remembrances. That's what I'm gonna go back and clean up now that I've kind of got through the main bosses.
I think
As far as I can see, like I said, I haven't gotten all the characters' lore yet. Even haven't played enough time in all of them yet. But honestly, as I can see, Iron Eye is the only one that's like that.
Okay.
I want to say Recluse as well. I think I did have to win a run. I think it's like between 2 bosses. I think maybe even the first boss is the day 3 one they have to do.
Oh man, I'm gonna fucking struggle with that one. I was playing Recluse with y'all. I'm trash at Recluse. That shit is.
Yeah, I've been staying away from the magic builds. It's not my forte.
Yeah, I leave that to you, Tim. I was trying to. I need to print like a cheat sheet for the her ability where you can like take the different elements to get different things. Cause like just trying to remember off the top of my head, I'm like, bro, I'm just grabbing whatever I can at this point. I don't know. I'm just gonna play Russian roulette and hope I get a good ability to pop up on one of these I grab because I have no fucking clue what I'm doing with these combinations. So
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can pull up like a thing because I saw somewhere like where I think maybe it was a video, but it broke down like which ones were like the best like combinations to use in the certain situations. I know what he was talking about, and I was like, I think it's actually the video that you sent me that broke down like the different characters and stuff like what they did. I can't remember who sent that video, but someone in the Discord did. And
yeah,
like Buddy has said, like these are the three that it was like I think Fire, Holy, and Lightning was a good one. It was like a handful of them that he said, but like those are like supposed to be like the strongest little like combinations to use.
yeah.
I will
It's.
say,
Oh, go ahead, Tim. Go ahead.
I would say the hard part is probably like getting all the armaments that you need to cast spells that matter to
Mm,
fire and holy and whatnot.
Oh, see, yeah,
It
okay.
does help when the team has different stuff like fire as well. But I feel like I've had a few runs just because I couldn't find any good spells. I just get heal for all the enchantments and the spells that just get trash spells the entire time that are just magic.
yeah, like I said, I leave that to you, brother. I gave it a good run 2 times, and I was like, I mean, I'll do it for the plat, but I might save Recluse for last. I'm gonna be honest with you, just
For
because
real though.
that one is it's not my range right now. Speaking of classes, this is a good segue kind of. What's your favorite classes in the game so far, or like one top one or two that you've been running a lot?
Um, for me personally, I started off with the Exeter, that class, the
Okay.
Katana boy. Started with him for a minute, thought I was gonna main that, and then I swapped to the Iron Eye, and I wanted to play something with some range, but I didn't want to cast magic, so
Okay.
it's like, let me just put my green arrow cap on and start shooting away.
Yeah.
um, so yeah, I've been stuck with that ever since, and I think honestly, from like because I have touched on a few of them, like played a few of them, like outside of just the two that I named. So I would say Iron Eye is at the top of my list. I think Wilder is a lot of fun to play, and then honestly, I'm gonna put the Raider in top three because I think the Raider's a really cool class. I just haven't put enough time into it yet.
Okay. Okay. That's a solid three. That's a solid three. What about you, Tim?
Okay, top three. As you guys already know, I play the Revenant the
Yeah.
most.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
Definitely enjoy her. I think she is. I love the incantations the most in this game. Second would probably be, I want to say Iron Eye as well. It took me a second to get to them, but after playing them, they just have a good second ability. Plus, you can use their ult to hopefully do a lot of damage or get a
sure,
person up.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I guess maybe Recluse. I would tip. I did start with them, thinking they would probably be my favorite, and they're still good. It's just the magic combos and the amount of armaments that I need. It can get a little bit overwhelming.
Right.
okay.
I I I I agree with that. That's probably the toughest thing in a recluse outside like the armaments and then the balancing your mana, like your FP.
Mm.
Like bro, I was like a fighting and I'm just forgetting that like I'm supposed to be like constantly grabbing FP back from like the
The
enemies
Grace.
as we're fighting to be able
Uh,
to keep doing attacks and it's just like bro I'm not trying to focus on that.
Nothing hurts more than you just waving your staff at your friends.
Yeah. So, okay, I like that. I like that. So for me, we'll go with top three. So Iron Eye is what I played the most. Um, I think that one. It's just for me. It's just probably just the best, like all around. Like you got good damage, decent survivability. Obviously you're squishy, but since you're playing far away, like you don't have to worry about taking a ton of damage like too often, as long as you're locked in to the attacks coming at you. And then as Tim pointed out too, the ult is very, very versatile. Like you can do good damage with it. Even if you don't do good damage with it, it does a lot of stagger damage. You can pick up your teammates. It's good for honestly like rune farming too. Like if you go somewhere where there's like a bunch of enemies around, like the wind that goes after the actual arrow, I mean, it kills most like regular enemies in one shot. So you can farm like a fuck ton of runes if you're somewhere with a lot of enemies. So I like the Iron Eye, but man, Duchess, I gotta play more of Duchess, but Duchess is definitely in second. Duchess is who I cleared the final 3 bosses of the game with, and I was kind of asleep. I was kind of asleep on the amount of damage that the Duchess can output with her the skill, the restage skill. Yeah. That shit is crazy, man. Especially if you're like if you're playing with like some heavy classes that do a lot of damage. Like most of the runs I was on that we won with, I was a Duchess, we had an Iron Eye, and then a Wilder. So Wilder was popping his ult, doing hella stagger, dropping fire down on the ground. I'm hitting the restage, so it's like doing half that damage. You still got the Iron Eye. Like the damage just stacks so quickly, and she gets that restage ability back so fast that like, you're constantly popping it. So you don't even have to. I mean, obviously you want to be smart with how you use it, but there's leeway. Like if you mess up, like you're gonna get it back pretty quickly, and you can use it again. So it's not super unforgiving if you're not timing it well all the time. And I really think that's how we cleared. I mean, it's how we beat the last boss. That was the restage was legit like what killed it. We were all attacking. I had like a couple teammates go down, and I dropped that, and then did a couple more attacks and finished it off. And then for my third, I'll probably say right now for my third one, I'm not super great with the class yet, but I like the Executor too, Nick, the Katana class. I feel like if you're really locked in with the pairing, like it's good for. In my opinion, it's a little situational, just because like some enemies, it's like hard to really time up that window to parry. Right. But just like, I think the weapon abilities for that one is great too. Like you have a katana off rip that does bleed damage. They have a lot of weapons that stack ailments, like frost, fire, and different things like that. And like you get a pretty decent damage output. The only problem is you have to be like in the face of whatever it is that you're fighting, and his health isn't great like Wilder or Raider or Guardian. So that's the only downside, is that you kind of have to be on your shit, paying attention to like not getting hit by attacks, because it's not forgiving enough where you can take damage like some of the heavier classes and be okay. But I like that one too. And especially, so y'all haven't, mini spoilers. So the relic you get from beating the last boss, when you switch armaments, it gives you a status ailment on the weapon. So like if you're holding 2 katanas, say one is just like plain Jane katana and one is like a bleed, and you switch back and forth with them, it'll add like fire or ice to the weapon that you're using too. And then on top of it, the status ailment that gets added gives you a boost in strength. So running that on the Executor and picking up like multiple katanas and like switching back and forth in the fight and doing different types of status ailments is kind of crazy. I fuck with it heavy. I fuck with it heavy.
We need to cook that last boss. Unite.
Yeah. I'm with it. That's honestly my favorite. I think it's the best fight, just like as far as enjoyment. So I'm preaching to y'all. I think y'all should just skip that dragon, go straight to the last one. Yeah. Okay. Got a little diversity in. Well,
Right.
more so Tim. Me and Nick kind of see eye to eye. But Tim, Tim in here with the Revenant and Recluse and the Iron Eye. So I respect it. All right, but speaking of most enjoyable boss, so I said mine's the last one. What is not most difficult, not hardest? What's the most enjoyable fight that y'all have had up to this point on the run? It could be not just day 3, like day 1, day 2, any bosses that you come across. Because honestly, like I enjoy fighting the Night King or Nameless King too.
I'm gonna lie, seeing Dancer
Yeah.
back in the mix was actually pretty rad. I can't cap.
Okay.
Yeah, Dancer. Yeah, that was actually a pretty dope boss to see again. I was like, it has been a while, my friend. That boss used to put me in a blender in Souls, bro. Oh my
It
god.
made it seem like it didn't happen tonight.
To the point like Mateo like had to like coach me on like how to do that, because that was like around the time when I first started like getting into Souls games. Mateo had to coach me on how to beat that boss, bro.
Yeah, man, everybody has their one, bro. Everybody has their one.
Uh,
What about for you, Tim?
I'm gonna say the Dancer as well. Honestly,
Okay.
we fought off tonight. I unfortunately was playing Guardian, so I didn't really do a lot of the dodging that I was supposed to. I took a lot of hits. We didn't do a lot of damage as well, unfortunately.
bro,
But
this
I
close,
definitely enjoy that
this
fight.
close to dying though. Like that's how much HP
Yeah.
that boss had left, and we all went down. I was like, that's crazy.
Oh, that's the worst.
But it's
Well,
such a good fight.
how you feeling about the Guardian Tim? I know it caught your eye with its like abilities, like its ult being able to pick people up and kind of keep people up for a while, like as long as they stay in the circle, they won't immediately go back down. But I feel like that's, at least in the time I've played Elden Ring with you, I feel like that's typically a lot different than how you usually play characters. Being like Guardian, you're real up close and like having to tank a lot of the damage, and I feel like it's not typically your play style. So I'm interested to see what your experience so far.
So I will admit, I've probably not played the best Guardian, especially tonight. It's interesting. I really enjoy their ability. I need to use the ability a lot more, where you block and use less
Mm,
stamina.
right.
So I've been blocking a lot of like intense attacks, and I thought that was cool when that happened, and then I immediately forget to do it, and then just get caught up into a combo. But they're interesting. I feel like when we do use the Guardian, or at least when I'm playing the Guardian, I'm not doing as much damage, or our damage definitely falls off.
Hmm.
Especially during our last run, I think we were fighting for quite a while, and the nobles just kind of just beat us into the ground.
Hmm.
I need to watch more videos for sure.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. I think I've only watched. I haven't played Guardian at all, like on an actual run. Like I've messed around with it back at the Roundtable Hold. Um, I think I might be wrong, but just like the little bit I've seen, I think Guardian seems very like comp heavy. Like depending on like you got to
Yeah,
bring the right people. You can't just like Iron Eye. You can kind of run with anybody. You know what
whatever.
I mean? Yeah. I feel like Guardian is very. You got to play very complementary characters around him because of just like you said, like doesn't do a lot of damage. Like his whole point is to like aggro and tank like damage away from the rest of the team. I mean, he does have a very good ability to be able to pick people up with his ult and keep them up. But I really do think it's dependent on like the group around you. And the videos I've seen, I feel like Raider's a good one to run with Guardian, just because like while they're both taking the damage from the boss, like the Raider's gonna do more damage and do more stagger damage specifically. So like he can get the stagger, the Guardian can get the crit. Either one can get the critical, and then they can kind of keep that cycle going while you have maybe like an Iron Eye or somebody else in the back doing more damage from afar. But I we need to see more, but I really do think it's like comp heavy. So that's probably one of them where we just got to like coordinate what we're going to do when you want to bring the Guardian out. But
Yeah, for sure.
it's definitely like a slept on class, because I will admit, like, I was not familiar with the Guardians game until I sent y'all that Reddit post where the guy was basically like talking about how he let this Guardian down who picked him up like 2 or 3 times in a boss fight. So I was not familiar with this game until I read that, and I've seen other people be like, no, like, he's weak, on the day 1, day 2 aspects, just because like he doesn't do a lot of damage, so he's not helping you clear the map quick. But like when you get to the boss fight, it's when he shines. Like, he can take damage, he can pick people up, he can hold his ground with his ability. If you're using it well, like he really is like a true like tank. So I need to. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, no, for real.
All right. Dang, man, I'm telling you, 40 minutes has gone by. I don't know if y'all know. It hasn't felt like it, but 40 minutes since we hit record.
I'm saying, man, that's quick.
Yeah.
Oh,
Let's
There's a lot to talk about this game.
You said what, Tim?
I said there's a lot to talk about in this game. I mean, like, I feel like we both played like a day portion of this game, so there's a lot that we've been playing through. But yeah, please continue.
Oh yeah, no. We can always do a part 2 when we we've cleared it all. Like when each of us has cleared every boss, we've got all the lore, the remembrance, and stuff like that. So
when we get the plats, we'll come back.
Yeah.
All right, so finishing it off, we'll make this will be the one thing that's not. It's Nightreign related, but not necessarily.
Okay.
After playing Nightreign, seeing how we all enjoy the game, like we all think it's real good, seeing how good of a game it is to us, what expectation do we have now for Duskbloods on Switch 2 next year when it drops? Because to my understanding, that's gonna be an online like multiplayer-esque game from them too. I don't know if it's gonna be the same as like 3v3, or am I wrong? Do I have that wrong?
No, I think I heard that right too. It's just I don't know in like what aspect is going to be multiplayer. Like, is it just going to be like a co-op thing? Like you can run through the campaign or the story with like a homie all the way through, or
Right.
Are there typical like, or is it gonna have like some PvP like aspect to it or something like that crazy, like invading or something like that? Maybe like their typical thing. I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do, but I'm curious though, because I don't know how that's gonna like perform on the Switch 2, to be honest. So,
I mean, it's exclusive, so
right.
for the
That
time
is
being.
true.
So I feel like, they're gonna have to make it run well. Like they have no choice.
Yeah,
this is the only
really,
place people are gonna be able to buy it. So
yeah, you're right. You're right.
And FromSoftware gets knocked for this a lot, but I think it's actually an advantage of why they're able to repeatedly make good games that they do, is that they reuse a lot of like assets from other games.
That is true.
That aren't like, they're not rebuilding anything from the ground up that's like super demanding, that I think will be a problem for the Switch 2. So I think that's to its benefit too, is that like, we all saw the preview. Everybody was like, oh, it's the next Bloodborne, because it's in that vein and looks in that style. So I don't think the performance and stuff like that will be that big of a problem. At least I hope it's not. But let's assume
it's fine.
It's the performance is fine.
Okay.
Let's assume also that it's similar to Nightreign, but maybe without the roguelike aspect. Maybe it's 3-person co-op. It's really more geared towards like you're playing through some type of story with the homies, and not necessarily like going on runs like we're doing now, the day 1, day 2, day 3. All right. Sprinkle in a little invasion, because I feel like they're good for that.
I feel like yeah.
Is it a banger? Is it a banger?
I don't know, bro. Like, if we just take the concept that you just said, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I would play that off rip.
Wow.
I don't know if I would.
Wow, I'm shocked. We've been on like all the major Souls things.
I
day
know,
one, and
I
you're saying
know.
you
It's
don't know
just
if you played.
I don't know how I play this, bro. I don't know. I just have to see because like I don't know. I don't know. I just feel like that it just don't sit right. You know what I'm saying? Like,
That's fair. That's fair. I mean, we got to see more of it, but that's fair for
right?
now. That's fair for now. Tim, what about you? What about you? I know you'll be on there with me day one, right? Don't let me down.
Yeah, I'm definitely a FromSoft fan, so I'm definitely gonna play through the game. I don't know if I'm gonna fall in love with the game though. That's my big concern.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think unlike Nightreign, I think this might be very heavy on the invader aspect
Oh, okay. Okay.
comparatively.
Interesting.
So
You're saying they're diving into the invading aspect. I don't know. So maybe not with us, but I feel like there's a big portion of like the Souls community that like really loves like the invading like PvP
Yeah.
shit. Like there's
Yeah.
people
Oh,
that
I
like,
know.
I see that like
Oh, it's
that's
huge.
all they do is just sit around and just invade people and like take 2-on-1s and like cook people all day. I need to get that guy's YouTube. He pops up on my like when I'm scrolling through YouTube on the short sometimes. Like he's always like finessing people in the in the raids, and it's like I know he's season 2 because he sees what like spells and like weapons they're using, and like goes through his equipment super fast to like change what he's holding to match what he needs to like beat the
It's
people. So I'm like, oh okay,
counter pretty much.
yeah,
Yeah,
you
no,
do this because you're swapping weapons mid
yeah,
fight to make sure you're
yeah.
good.
Buddy is big brain, bro. I will say
Yeah,
that much. When it comes to the soul stuff, Buddy is definitely big brain.
yeah, and I
That's
feel like
crazy.
that's a good portion of them too. So if it's invader heavy, like you're saying, Tim, like I mean maybe it won't be appealing to us, but like that might go crazy.
Yeah, for them.
They're gonna be fans for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
Could you
100%.
imagine too with that little bum ass Switch 2 camera if you got invaded and the dude killed
Bro,
you
Oh my
and then he cut the camera on to taunt you, bro? Could you imagine if it worked
bro,
like that?
I'd be so mad. Oh my god, I'd be so
Dog.
mad.
I'm gonna have to log out for the day.
For real, bro. I'm turning off that console so quick, bro.
Bro, people would be breaking fucking controllers over that. You get invaded and cooked, and dude just cuts on his camera and is just taunting you. Like,
You
come
just
on,
see a
man.
little square in the bottom of your TV, bro. And Buddy just, ooh.
So actually, Tim, you might have pitched their next game of the year, bro. If it's invading heavy.
Bro, dude, they put in that camera work, it's over with, bro. The amount of memes and gifts that would come from that would be so ridiculous,
That would
bro.
be hilarious. That'd be hilarious.
Yo, the Nintendo might be cooking with that whole camera thing. I can't cap, bro. Like, and it's not like I feel like, nah, cause didn't Sony with the PS5 come out with a camera too?
Yeah.
But you can't use it for the way that the
Yeah,
Switch is
I don't know if it
using
works the
right?
same way the Switches does.
Right. Okay.
I gotta see more how like the Switches works too. Like I obviously like we've seen the like memes and stuff and people
Right.
like joking about it, but all jokes aside, I need to see how it like works
It
in
actually
action.
functions.
But if you
You're gonna
could
see
do
it on.
that, oh, go
How
ahead,
it used
Tim. You said what?
I would say you're gonna see me on the camera during Smash. Don't worry, it's gonna be there.
Don't worry.
The new Smash game that comes out.
Yeah.
Man, they're trying to fool people and act like they're not making a Smash game, but they're not slick. We all know.
I understand they're gonna be like, "Oh, surprise!"
Yeah, Smash Legacy or whatever they want to call it is gonna drop for the Switch too. They're not slick. That's gonna make.
I was
It's
like,
gonna
"There's
sell
no
30
way you
million
come out."
copies.
Yeah, I was like, "There's no way you come out with a whole new console and not drop like one of your biggest titles for the Switch."
Right. That hasn't
But
dropped, and
anyway,
it's been a minute since we got a new Smash game
it
too.
has. It has.
They're waiting.
So, but okay, man. Appreciate y'all, man. We at the 50-minute mark. I try to keep shows, 45 minutes to an hour, but appreciate having y'all on. Appreciate I feel like we could talk Nightreign for a
Oh,
minute. Like you said,
yeah.
we haven't even gotten through
The crazy stuff.
most of the game. Like there's still a good chunk left that we got to get through and play. So maybe we'll run it back with a part two. But
Okay.
in the meantime, you guys want any final words for the listeners? You know what I'm saying? I'll let y'all, whoever wants to take it first, go ahead, get your final thoughts out. Plug something if you need to.
I'm not gonna plug anything, but thanks for having me. Again, my name's Nick /Nerosama. Come hop in the Discord. We're a bunch of friendly guys who love the game. I'll plug the Discord. That's what I'll do. I'll plug the Discord.
Respect.
Yeah, come join us in Mook University, bro. In Mook Universe, we just be big chillin'. So a bunch of great guys who love the game. We be on a bunch of different things from FPS titles, RPGs, MMOs, whatever you name it. Someone's probably playing it. So yeah, come hang out.
Big facts. Tim, any last words, brother?
No, I mean it's been a pleasure being on. I don't have anything to plug, honestly, besides the Discord. I hopefully plan to maybe start streaming or maybe even start my own pod about some of the hidden indie anime gems that I have a heart for. But I'm Tim, or Nerdy Guy Tim, so please come on, catch me in Discord.
Respect. I love that, Tim. I should have mentioned it at the beginning of the show, but this is for those who are listening for the first time. This is Tim's podcast debut, man. He's we've been trying to get him on here for a minute. He made his debut, so I'm honored that he's making his debut on the show. But I love that. If you started a pod about indie games, you know your shit about indie games.
I'll be on there.
Absolutely, I tune in. Like you put me on a lot of indie games, so I think that's a great lane for you, brother. So if you want to do that, I hope you do it. But
Thank you.
Appreciate anybody who's listening. Appreciate everybody who catches this week's episode. Shout out to, I told y'all we were gonna have some guests. Finally got some, so appreciate, thank you y'all boys again for being on here. We'll wrap it up, but until then, remember,
Mook World is in full effect.
appreciate y'all. Peace.